Miss Grand Zambales.
I've seen war, not just in battlefields, but in the face of poverty and inequality. Growing up with nothing, I know what it feels like to chase a dream on an empty stomach, to endure hunger and fight simply because life gave you no other choice. And it breaks my heart knowing that over 780 million people still live in this kind of silent war every single day. Let's all choose kindness over cruelty, empathy over judgment, and understanding over indifference. Because true peace can only be achieved if we address the main problem, and that is born with suffering, poverty, and injustice. When we choose kindness and love as our greatest weapon, we don't just end wars, but we begin healing. And one day, may that healing reach every home, so no child will ever have to sleep hungry again. And in that moment, war ends, and a new dawn of peace and humanity begins. Mabuhay!
Miss Grand Zambales.
This is to honor my father. June 14, 2018, when my father was murdered because of a simple misunderstanding that leads to violence. It changed my life in so many ways. And if this happened to my father, it can also happen to you. And it's already happening around the world. We badly need a peace talk and a refusal to fight over superiority. Because in war, there's no victory, but only the absence of love for humanity. Now, I stand here, not only as a daughter who have lost her father, but also as an empowered Filipina. We must create a bridge of understanding, be more compassionate to one another, and to create a world where everybody is loved and respected regardless of who they are. Because we don't need soldiers of war. What we need are champions of peace. Thank you.
Miss Grand Quezon City.
If war destroys lives, then peace must be the greatest gift that we can give. Imagine a child whose future is clouded by hunger, fear, and pain. While I am blessed to live a life and to dream in peace, many children out there live in fear of losing someone that they love every single day. War is more than just the sound of guns. It is the emptiness of classrooms, the silence of homes, and the tears of families. Violence grows when we choose hatred, when we choose to turn a blind eye on injustice, and when we stay silent. But when we amplify our voices for peace, we give hope, we save lives, and we show the world that love is stronger than anger, hate, and violence. We can be the light that shines at the end of a tunnel for women, for children, and for families. Maraming salamat.
Miss Grand Tarlac Province.
I am a firm believer that the
fork and spoon are not always best to use in the table. Sometimes we have to use knife to cut things out in our life. But tonight, it's not about the fork, spoon, or knife. As a daughter of humanity, life is best served when we use our voices as our greatest armors to cut out the silent dreams and families torn apart. Tonight, let us build a seat on the table where we speak for those who have been unplaced and serve strength to those who are too tired to fight for peace alone. As one nation, we do more than end war. We prepare for new history where table turns for humanity. Maraming salamat po, Naimbaga Rabiin.
Miss Grand Taguig City.
War destroys cities, and violence can destroy the essence of a person's spirit. When we say stop the war and violence, it doesn't only pertain to nations at war with one another. I also consider the women who are afraid to go to and sleep in their own homes, or even walk alone at night. According to the United Nations, 1 in 3 women will experience some form of physical and/or sexual violence in her lifetime. Please raise your hand with me if you are too a victim. I commend you for your bravery. In 2023, more than 51,000 women and girls were murdered. That's 140 lives lost every single day, not including the ones who have disappeared. In fact, 2 years ago, I stood in this very arena alongside a beauty queen batchmate sister of mine who later on went missing. Her story is a painful reminder that violence against women is here and it is real. So no, violence is not just about guns and bombs. It can be fear, it can be silence. And peace is not just about politics. Peace is safety, peace is respect. And peace as a collective it truly happens when we as a collective decide that every woman, every child, and every life is worth protecting. Thank you.
Miss Grand Aklan.
We can no longer turn a blind eye to the countless lives that have been taken away in the war in Gaza, where the most innocent have suffered the greatest damage. Nearly 62,000 Palestinians have died, and beneath the rubble, more bodies lie at sea. We can no longer allow ourselves to become desensitized. Day after day, we scroll past casualty counts, lives reduced to statistics of rubble and bloodshed, forgetting that behind these numbers are 62,000 stories, 62,000 lives lived, futures stolen. And these stories demand both our outrage and our compassion in recognition of our shared humanity. We can no longer stand aside. We must demand accountability from leaders, from nations, and even from ourselves to rally not just behind the victims of the war, but we should be rallying beside them. Thank you.
Miss Grand Pampanga.
I am a news anchor, and I have reported the world's suffering. Wars destroying homes, violence stealing dreams, and calamities taking lives. Yet through every heartbreaking story, an ounce of hope has always remained in my heart. These stories taught me one truth, that my voice has a purpose beyond the newsroom. Now listen closely to the beat of my heart. In every heart that dares to believe,
I will no longer speak of pain, but of peace. When my stories will no longer echo fear, but harmony, unity, and love. A world without war is not just a dream, it is a decision. And that decision begins with us, right here, right now. Dakal pong salamat.